Whether being ruthless with your players and management or being arrogant and cocky, hockey isn't the same without its fans, despite them being a pain in the backside sometimes. Here are the most annoying fan bases in NHL history. Los Angeles Kings. Keep your laughs to yourself. Fans of the Kings, you're here as well, but for slightly different reasons. Los Angeles residents are extremely proud of their teams, and as a result, the city has built a brand identity that encourages residents to support any team with the letters LA across their breast. Why do you believe Lakers and Dodgers merchandise is selling so quickly? The Kings have gotten on that bandwagon, and now that the team has some skill and is supposed to be making a Stanley Cup run, fair-weather supporters who abandoned the team during a nearly decade-long renovation have purchased this year's edition of the Kings' new sweater and are rushing back to the seats. Few people know anything about hockey other than that there are a lot of fights and they despise the Ducks, leading to the two most common things I've heard yelled at Staples Center in my many visits: Ducks suck, as well as F him up. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. Furthermore, the Kings have sold a large number of season seats to corporate partners, which means that a large portion of those in attendance did not go out of their way to purchase the tickets, but rather are there because they were given the tickets. Philadelphia Flyers. When did the city of brotherly love become so cruel? I mean, even some of your own players, notably goalkeepers, are afraid to play there. Philadelphia Flyers fans have a reputation for being some of the league's meanest, loudest, and most brutal fans. While there is no doubt about their devotion for their club, and I applaud the fact that their arena has thus become one of the most difficult buildings in the league to play in, the scrutiny placed on the team by fans and media makes the climate borderline cutthroat. Simply ask Sergei Bobrovsky. With the Flyers shaking things up this offseason, GM Paul Holmgren's head is on the line right now, and if the Flyers slip into a rut, expect an immediate uproar screaming for his head on a plate. I'm not sure if that idiom is used figuratively in Philadelphia. Boston Bruins. This is a preventative measure. The NHL is a developing sport and each national broadcast expands its fan base. When the Stanley Cup final is nationally televised on a major cable network, fans get to see both teams and usually begin to root for the one who wins. As in previous years, there will be a substantial number of new and/or fair-weather Boston Bruins supporters running around every building in the NHL next season. That alone will be vexing, especially in smaller markets, but there's more to it than that. Some may recall Jay Moore's amusing portrayal of Boston supporters during his monologue at the 2011 NHL Awards, but what makes it even funnier is that it's pretty much accurate. Another element that's not specific to Boston, but is very common in a sense of smug superiority as an Original Six franchise. While I admire the game for its rich history, being one of the league's initial clubs does not make you better or more deserving of the championship and fans than any other team. So stop flaunting it in front of other teams' faces because we truly don't care. Thanks. San Jose Sharks. I'm convinced that San Jose Sharks fans are jinxing their club on a regular basis. Despite winning the Pacific Division for 4 straight seasons already, only to be eliminated in the playoffs, fans continue to proclaim, "This is the year," year after year after year. I swear, try not stating you're destined to win that elusive first Stanley Cup just once and watch what happens. Okay, so there's some personal prejudice here, but Sharks supporters are easily the most irritating hockey fans in the league. With the Sharks dominating the Northern California hockey market, there is no shortage of fans attending games at HP Pavilion. While the Shark Tank is one of the loudest buildings in the NHL, the fans are clearly cocky about their success and aren't afraid to push it in their opponents' faces right up until they crash out of the playoffs in disgrace. As a result, at least in California, it's safe to argue that Sharks supporters irritate both Ducks and Kings fans. However, unlike in California, Sharks fans are welcomed in our channel. Honestly, any hockey fan is welcome here. Make sure you subscribe to support our channel. Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens are the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup in 1993, the team with the most Stanley Cups, a staggering 24, and the team with the longest history, extending back over 102 years to December of 1909. Montreal Canadiens fans will never fail to remind you of their team's history, before every game, during every game, after every game, and in almost any interaction you have with them. In fact, they take the Original Six complex, as I like to call it, to a whole new level, continually reflecting on their long history in almost every moment of every day. In fact, it appears that names like Jean Beliveau, Henri Richard and Guy Lafleur are mentioned more when discussing the Canadiens than anyone on the current team. Perhaps this is a sneaky tactic to distract Habs fans from the team's recent troubles in both the regular season and the playoffs by making a repeated sentimental grab at former greatness. In any case, Montreal, we understand. We know you've been around for a long time. There's no point in reminding us of players who played 50 years ago with long, boring pre-game ceremonies and hideous throwback uniforms that make me want to rip my eyes out. Pittsburgh Penguins. You want living proof that one player's brilliant marketing can catapult a team to success? Pittsburgh Penguins had the lowest attendance statistic in the NHL in the final year before the lockout, 2003-2004, 11,877 fans per game. Since Pittsburgh drafted Sidney Crosby, he's become the NHL's media darling, and new hockey fans have been pummeled with the Steel City guys on a daily basis. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been a candidate to be one of the two teams shown more than any other team since the NHL began broadcasting a game of the week on NBC. They've appeared the league-mandated maximum 4 times each year and are the only team to have appeared in 2 Winter Classic events, arguably the NHL's premier regular season game. They won the Stanley Cup in 2009, signaling a new level of success, but their national exposure has arguably resulted in a nationwide fandom, with many of their non-local fans not even having any connection to the city of Pittsburgh at all. So, what irritates me about Pittsburgh fans? While this is not true for all of them, a large portion of their fan base grew as a result of being so heavily bombarded with Penguins content in the national media, they were never given the opportunity to support another club. Detroit Red Wings. So many of their fans who have fled the increasingly deteriorating situation in Detroit, or simply begun following them because of their winning habits, more or less overrun every venue in the NHL and provide such a strong crowd presence that it resembles a home game. A Red Wings goal is met with a roar that rivals that of the home crowd at smaller market facilities. Nothing irritates a hockey fan more than having their own home overrun by fans of one of the league's most despised teams, at least in the Western Conference, many of whom are perpetually indifferent. Their admirers will not hesitate to shove their accomplishments in the face of anyone. The Detroit Red Wings have been a sight to behold for the previous 2 decades, riding a 20-year record of playoff appearances. While being this successful is absolutely a fantastic cause to be arrogant, enthusiastic, and full of joy in the good times, it's also tremendously annoying to be all of these things in everyone else's building. Making it till the end means you loved this content. Click the video on the screen to watch the most hated team in the NHL.